friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley Aireonna and I wanted to bring you some good breaking news. 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy, I reported yesterday, Mike Silver said if he were to show up today, it is the first day of the voluntary OTAs. So OTAs start today, but there's no on the field work that's happening. It's just inside meeting, kind of getting to know your teammates if they traded for anyone, and discussing things with the GM and Kyle. Now, John Lynch will talk later on today, and I'm sure reporters will ask more about this, but Brock Purdy, quarterback, it was reported if he didn't show up that it meant the Brock Purdy's team and the 49ers were very far apart on their deal. The most recent update from Mike Silver was that the 49ers have offered him over $50 million per year for his new contract. Now, once again, he has a year left on his deal, so the 49ers could say, hey, we want you to play it out. You had one excellent year, one down year. Let's see what you do this year and pay you depending on that. Apparently, they've offered him over 50. We don't know the duration. We don't know the entire contract. There's been some speculation that his contract might be a shorter one and end, or at least have the guaranteed money end at the end of Kyle and John Lynch's deal, which ends on 2027. But then obviously it can be re-upped if they do well. But if they don't do well and Jed York decides to move off of them, it might be nice to not have a quarterback tied down in case they want to hire a new coach and that coach and GM wants to go out and get their own guy. So there's been speculation that probably the 49ers wishes is that his guaranteed money, it might be like a 5-year deal with 3 years guaranteed, and then you can either do what he's doing now, and even though he has time left on his deal, extend that deal then if he's done well, or they can let it fade out and not be on the hook for him. That's just speculation on the deal that he has been offered. We obviously don't know for sure, but it's been reported that a deal similar to that by beat reporter Matt Mayoko, who's very close with the team, and Jed York, and also by Mike Silver. So Brock Purdy showed up. I'm not super surprised he showed up. Mike Silver said him showing up means that they're close to striking a deal, which maybe that's true, but also Brock Purdy is a professional. I didn't imagine that he would hold out. He's worked out with George Kittle earlier this offseason in Nashville, where George Kittle lives. He went to Jacksonville, Florida, and worked with Ricky Pearsall and Jacob Cowing. So he's been trying to, act like a leader, act like a franchise quarterback, which is, I think, what he should be doing. A lot of times you see wide receivers will get to Kittle. They can kind of hold out and be divas. When you're supposed to be the franchise quarterback and you're, not Patrick Mahomes. So Patrick Mahomes wouldn't do this because a part of being a franchise quarterback is the personality. But I'm saying, Brock Purdy doesn't have the upper echelon skill set. He has a good skill set, but not, number one in the NFL. So a big part of what makes him so good is his mentality, is his, the fact that he is 100% football driven. He wants to do everything within his power. He might have a limited skill set, but he's going to optimize to, everything he can. He's going to be as good as he possibly can, where maybe there's some people that have the ability to be really talented, but they don't care and put in as much work. Brock Purdy is not like that. Brock Purdy puts in the work. So I'm not surprised that he is there. I also don't know if it technically, I know Mike Silver says it means that they're close to striking a deal. I think he would have gone if they were close to striking a deal or not. But according to Mike Silver, maybe a deal gets done soon. That'll be interesting, and I'll definitely be bringing you that. And like I said, 49ers beat reporters are down there talking to John Lynch after today's OTAs. Now, once again, this is a voluntary OTA. A lot of players do not go. Nick Bosa never goes. Trent Williams never goes. In the past, George Kittle has not gone to these OTAs. He's gone to the first in-person physical OTAs, which I do think might still be voluntary. I think it's not until much later in the offseason that things start to be, OTAs start to be mandatory. I think there is physical OTAs that are still voluntary, and Kittle goes to those. When you're on the field, he's usually there, but he in the past has skipped these. But people are making it a big deal and saying that he's skipping it because he's holding out because he wants his contract. Now, I will say the 49ers screwed him over last time. If you watched my video yesterday, I talked about his agent called it the Valentine's Day Massacre. 5 years ago when they extended George Kittle. They really lowballed him, really offended him because George Kittle loved the 49ers, felt like he had played his heart out for the 49ers. Obviously, he's drafted in the 5th round. He's an all-pro player, Pro Bowl player his entire, rookie year, and then they come in and try to lowball him. So he was kind of like, what the hell? Now they ended up resolving it. They gave him $15 million a year, which was top of the tight end market later on after offending him. So are they going to do something similar? They seem to, in my opinion, handle negotiations really poorly. They lowball players, offend them, make them hold out. Then there's a lack of chemistry between the wide receiver or the tight end and his quarterback because they're not practicing all off season. And then, carrying into right before the season starts, even week 1 with Nick Bosa, they end up caving and just giving them top of the market value. I don't think that's a good way to do business, just to piss off your players to then end up paying them more than you would have paid them if you would have paid them sooner. Now, Arizona Cardinals did just extend their tight end, and they gave him $19 million per year. I imagine that George Kittle is definitely going to want to break that because he is a better tight end than Trey McBride is the tight end that they just extended. Now, some people will say the 49ers were stupid for not paying him to start the offseason. They could have came to him right after the season ended and said, George Kittle, we love you. We want you to be a Niner forever. You've had a career resurgence these last 2 years. You've always been wonderful in the blocking. You do whatever we ask you to do. We want you to catch in the red zone. You're scoring touchdowns, but we honestly don't give you that many opportunities in the passing game. We're having you, block because we never pay for offensive lines. So you're in there doing the dirty work. We want to reward you, and paid him. And then they could have paid him $19 million. They could have said, this is a huge bonus, top of the tight end market, but instead they waited. Now the Cardinals have paid their tight end, so the 49ers are going to have to break that because Kittle is just obviously a better wide receiver than Trey McBride. So I'm assuming, $20 million is now at the top of the market. I think he'll eventually get that. I don't think it's a huge deal that he's not there today, but I do wish the 49ers started negotiating their deal sooner and getting this shit done. But we'll see. Like I said, John Lynch talks, so we'll see what he has to say. Anyways, I love you guys. That's the update, and I'll be going live after John Lynch's press conference to talk about the draft coming up in 2 days and any updates that John Lynch has about Trent Williams or anything else going on. Love you. Bye.